Namaskaram, Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, first sloka. The chapter is Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. The rest in English it is given as Namaskaram, Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. The first sloka. In this sloka, Bhagavan says, I declared the imperishable knowledge, that is eternal yoga, to Viswasan, Surya, sun god. And he in turn told it to Manu, his son. And Manu in turn told it to his son, the first king of solar dynasty, Surya Vamsa, Ishwaku. So this is how that yoga was passed on from generation to generation. So here in this sloka, Bhagavan explains the tradition, the parampara of the text. So whenever a text is, ancient text is revealed, the tradition, the heritage is also revealed. Who taught it, how it was taught, and what happened to it. So all these details are given along with the text. So Krishna says that this teaching is eternal, imperishable, and it always existed and can never be destroyed. So he begins the chapter with the parampara, with the tradition. So he revealed that he taught this knowledge was there long time ago, was given to Vishwasan. Namaskaram, Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. In the first sloka, Bhagavan says, I had declared this imperishable yoga to Vishwaswan. Vishwaswan, sun god. He told it to Manu, his son. And Manu told this to Ishwaku, who was the first king of Surya Vamsa, the solar dynasty. So in the first sloka of the 4th chapter, Sri Krishna explains the tradition, the parampara, the heritage, the knowledge of Gita. So when any ancient text is revealed, their tradition or heritage is also revealed. Here, Sri Krishna first says that this teaching is imperishable, it is eternal, it always existed and it can never be destroyed. He begins with the parampara. So he says that this was revealed, the same knowledge was revealed long time ago to sun god Vishwaswan. Vishwaswan. In Sanskrit, Vasa meaning one who recites very well and one who illumines well. So sun. The sun can be considered as the first student of Karma Yoga because he was the first one who learnt it from God. And he selflessly provided that world. The sun, that is Vishwaswan, gave that knowledge to Manu, the son of him. And Manu is considered as the first human being. That is why the humans are considered Manushya. So this is what the text says. Manu then gave that knowledge to Ishwaku, the first king of Surya Vamsa. So Krishna highlights the point here that it is not the new what I'm teaching you now, and don't think I'm teaching this for only to fight. Don't think I'm teaching this to you only to wage war. This was taught long ago to sun god, and this knowledge was imparted long back. And he also says imparting knowledge alone is not enough. So the recipient should know to appreciate the value of what is receiving. And you should have faith. You should have faith in authenticity. Only then the recipient will put it in practice. He will apply it in life. Bhagavan is explaining this. Bhagavan says he establishes the credibility and importance of spiritual wisdom, which is bestowing on Arjuna. So Arjuna is a receiver now. So Krishna says this. Don't think it. I am giving you this knowledge only to fight. This is to apply in your life situations. So this is not new. And he also mentioned there were two ways in olden days to pass on the knowledge: one ascending and descending. So when you say ascending, that self-effort. Nowadays we say self-study. So they used to study on their own, they interpret on their own, and they understand on their own. So what happens in that way of understanding, there may be imperfections and it may be time consuming, there may be mistakes, and we learn along with the mistakes. And the other way is descending process. You are learning from Guru. It is passed on from Guru to disciple. So in that process, there is no fault. The teaching is faultless. So that is easier also. And you get your doubts clarified then and there. So you get better knowledge. And you are getting the true meaning of the scripture. This is like how nowadays we get that math solved problems. So you find the student's originality is not there. It's just learning from what the author has done, the teacher has already done it. So that he is not going by his own method. So he is just copying. So that's a weakness in that method. So God says you can learn from a Guru directly. That is, you are attending the classes and learning there. You don't learn along with them. Even if you find the mistakes, you can get it rectified. You can get it clarified and learn. So he is explaining all this because at one point of time, this knowledge was lost to time. That's why he is explaining all this. So the divine knowledge, you get it through teacher. And when it is happening, you get the energy of God. And the knowledge is God and soul are eternal. And this science of yoga explains the union of soul with God. So how to get the God realization, how you can connect your soul to God. So Bhagavad Gita is very relevant today. Though it was taught so many years back, but the problems what we face today can be solved by the ways Krishna has mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. That's why it's a manual for daily life. So you get lots of guidelines here. It can be for anything. It can be even for professional life and personal life. So this knowledge of yoga is eternal. This is what Krishna says here. So it is imperishable. So such a treasure has been passed on from Vedic period, the ancient period, by God. So we understand the value of the scripture we have.